Willow Mansion. It stood on the hill overlooking our small town, a skeletal silhouette against the bruised twilight sky. Locals called it the Whisper House, a place where the wind always seemed to be telling secrets. As kids, we dared each other to touch the rusted iron gates, but none of us ever had the courage to go further. Until last October. It was Liam's idea, of course. He was always the brave one, the one who pushed the boundaries. It's just an old, abandoned house, he'd scoffed, waving a heavy-duty flashlight like a sword. What's the worst that could happen? Me, Chloe, and Sam, we weren't so sure. But the thrill of it, the pull of the unknown, was too strong to resist. We met just after sundown, the air crisp with the scent of fallen leaves and impending rain. The gate groaned in protest as Liam forced it open, a sound like a moan from the earth itself. We crept up the overgrown path, our footsteps muffled by damp leaves. The mansion loomed over us, its windows like vacant eyes. The front door was boarded up, but Liam found a cellar entrance around the side, its wooden doors swollen and warped by years of neglect. With a collective effort, we heaved one side open, revealing a flight of stone steps descending into absolute blackness. Ladies first. Liam grinned, shining his light into the abyss. Chloe rolled her eyes and took the lead, her own flashlight beam cutting a nervous path ahead. The air that rose from the cellar was cold and damp, thick with the smell of wet earth and something else. Something faintly sweet, like wilting flowers. We followed her down, the door slamming shut above us with a deafening boom that made us all jump. Just the wind, Sam muttered, though his voice trembled. We were in a vast stone cellar. Arched ceilings were draped in cobwebs as thick as cotton, and empty wine racks lined the walls like skeletal ribs. In the center of the room stood a single, massive oak table, its surface coated in a thick layer of dust, except for one spot. A perfect, clean rectangle, as if something had been recently lifted from it. As we explored, I noticed scratch marks on the stone floor, not random, but deliberate, forming strange, spiraling patterns that all led towards a far wall. Guys, look at this, I called out, tracing the lines with my finger. They converged on a section of the wall that looked different. The stones newer, the mortar less crumbled. Liam, ever the pragmatist, ran his hand over it. It's a sealed doorway, he announced, his voice echoing in the stillness. That's when we heard it, a soft, rhythmic sound from behind the wall. Thump, 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 like a slow, steady heartbeat. We froze, our flashlight beams intersecting in a frantic dance. It's just the house settling, Sam whispered, trying to convince himself as much as us. But the sound was too regular, too. Alive. Driven by a morbid curiosity that overruled our fear. Liam started pushing against the sealed stones. One of them shifted. With renewed determination, we all joined in, pushing and pulling until a small opening was created just big enough for one person to squeeze through. A wave of that same cloyingly sweet smell washed over us. Liam, of course, went first. We waited, holding our breath, for what felt like an eternity. Then, his voice, strained and barely a whisper, came from the other side. You have to see this, one by one. We crawled through the opening into another, smaller chamber. This room was different. The walls were smooth, and in the center of the room, directly under a gnarled root system that had broken through the ceiling from the giant willow tree above, was a small, child-sized coffin. It was made of dark, polished wood. And it was from this coffin that the thump, thump, thump sound was emanating, louder now, more insistent. My blood ran cold. Chloe was openly crying, begging us to leave. But Liam was mesmerized. He reached out and placed his hand on the lid. The thumping stopped. The silence that followed was somehow more terrifying than the noise had been. "What are you doing, Liam?" "Let's go," I hissed, grabbing his arm. But he shook me off. "There's something inside," he breathed, his eyes wide. "It wants out." Before we could stop him, he began to work at the simple latch on the coffin. It was a terrible, screeching sound that grated on our nerves. With a final click, the latch gave way. Slowly, ever so slowly, the lid began to rise, not from Liam's effort, but on its own. It lifted a few inches, revealing a sliver of profound darkness within. The sweet, rotten smell intensified, choking us. And from that sliver of black came a voice, a little girl's whisper that seemed to echo not in the room, but inside our own heads. "Will you play with me?" We didn't wait for an answer. Pure, primal terror took over. We scrambled back through the opening, scraping our hands and knees on the rough stone, not caring about the pain. We just had to get out. We burst back into the main cellar, not even bothering to look back, and stampeded up the stone steps. We threw our combined weight against the cellar door, bursting out into the now pouring rain, gasping for air that didn't taste of dust and decay. We ran. We didn't stop running until the lights of our neighborhood were in sight, until the shadow of the Willow Mansion was just a bad memory on the horizon. We never spoke of what happened that night. We tried to forget the sound, the smell, the voice. We drifted apart after that, the shared trauma a wall between us. Sometimes, though, late at night, when the wind howls just right, I think I can hear it. A faint whisper carried on the breeze from that hill. "Will you play with me?" And I know deep in my bones that something was awakened that night beneath the Willow Mansion. Something we left the door open for. If you enjoyed today's story, Beneath the Willow Mansion, don't forget to like this video if it gave you chills. Comment below with your favorite scary moment and share it with your friends who dare to watch alone in the dark. And remember, every haunted house hides a story, but some stories don't want to be found. Until next time, subscribe for more terrifying tales. And whatever you do, don't look in the mirror.